Welcome to Good for Bitcoin, a weekly show recorded live every Friday where we recap the top events of the week and talk about everything that is good for Bitcoin. If it's built on Bitcoin, then it's good for Bitcoin. Let's get started.
Content shared on this podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. It does not constitute financial, investment, or legal advice. The views and opinions expressed are those of the host and guests and do not reflect the official policy or position of any other agency, organization, or company. We encourage you to conduct your own research and consult with a qualified professional before making any financial decisions.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to Good for Bitcoin, your weekly pulse on Bitcoin innovation. My name is Brandon, joined as always by Kate. Kate, happy Friday. How was your week?
Hey, Brandon. Yeah, happy Friday. I mean, it's been a good end to the week. We saw some numbers enter the green, which is nice. Otherwise, the week was relatively quiet, I would say. Not a ton seemed to be happening.
Yeah, I would say the same. There's just been a lot of price action. Bitcoin's up, I think, nearly like 25%, maybe more than 25% now at this stage. It's been going up, a lot in the past 24 hours, which has been exciting. Bitcoin's kind of felt like a little bit of a stable coin lately, so it's been pretty cool.
Also, it feels like this is the first week where we don't have a ton of amazing news, but we also don't have a lot of bad news either. I feel like our last couple shows have just been hacks and exploits and this, so I feel like we're in a neutral zone right now.
Those were the bottom signals, and now here we are, and we're thriving.
We'll run.
Yeah, I think I was seeing some people commenting last week about Cold Card. Everything that happened with Cold Card was kind of like this cycle's black swan event in some ways, right? You never would have expected something like Cold Card to have been exploited in the way that it was, and for so many Bitcoiners to lose all their Bitcoin, and that is this cycle's black swan event, right? The last cycle was FTX and everything going on there, and then everything that happened with Cold Card, price didn't really move much, didn't really go down as a result of that, which is a good sign. That is kind of like a sign that we are near kind of at or near the bottom. And I mean, based on the price movement this week, it kind of seems like that was the case. So we'll see if it continues to go up from here, or if it's just kind of a fake out and, we go down to 50K. Who knows?
We'll see. Time will tell.
Yeah. Well, let's get into, as always, the public companies buying and selling Bitcoin. I got to give a big shout out to Bullish, who IPO'd this week. They became a public company, and in their financial statement, they revealed that they own 24,300 BTC. It's a lot of Bitcoin. That brings them to the sixth largest public company holding BTC, ahead of Strive, SpaceX, and Coinbase, which I think is super interesting.
That's pretty cool.
For as long as Coinbase has been around, they have less BTC on their balance sheet than Bullish does.
Wow. Then we have Strive. They bought 79 Bitcoin this week, which brings their total to 20,246 BTC.
We're still in quarterly earnings season, so Gemini revealed an additional 1,698 BTC on their balance sheet. They now hold 5,528 BTC.
Capital B bought another whopping 5 Bitcoin this week, and they now hold a total of 3,145.
Not to be outdone, we have Canaan Inc., who bought 2 BTC. They now hold 1,009.
And then Remix Point revealed an additional 9.98 BTC on their balance sheet, which brings their total to 1,501 BTC.
No BTC movement from Strategy this week. No buys, no sells. They did increase their USD reserve by 150 million and buy back 132 million of STRC. They did that through more ATM of their common stock. So no Bitcoin affected.
Nice. All right. Well, we only have
Continuing on, with I guess more public company-ish news, I guess. MetaPlanet, who is kind of the Japanese MicroStrategy, they are coming to the US. So they announced that they are taking a controlling stake in Super League Enterprise, which has the ticker SLE. So they're already a public company. At closing, it will be renamed to SuperPlanet and have a new ticker, SUPA, SUPA, and their US Bitcoin Treasury platform. And it will be their US Bitcoin Treasury platform. And they're also going to be seeding it with 2,100 BTC of their own Bitcoin. And it'll all be part of like the MetaPlanet kind of conglomerate group. So I thought this tweet from MetaPlanet CEO Simon Garovich was interesting. He said, the strategy now runs on two engines. SuperPlanet raises in America, MetaPlanet raises in Japan. Both feed a single Bitcoin position that never leaves the group. When SuperPlanet raises capital without adding common shares, Bitcoin per share rises there. And at MetaPlanet at the same time. Two markets, two currencies, two investor bases, one balance sheet compounding, which is pretty interesting. And I guess that is expected to close in Q4 of this year.
Cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I feel like they've been talking about that for a little bit. So nice to see that happening. All right. The next one is about the US Treasury. So they're doing some buybacks. So we looked at their Treasury yield. It hit a high of 5.34 this week, which is the highest it's been since 2007. And they responded by basically doubling their long end bond buybacks. So from 2 billion to 4 billion per operation. They're going to start this September 9th. And the markets, obviously, as we're seeing, they reacted. So the yield dropped to 5.187%. The dollar hit a 2.5 a month low, and then gold rallied to just over 4,500 an ounce. Then Bitcoin also followed. So we saw like a 7% surge, which is the biggest single day move since March. There was also, a short squeeze as part of this. There was a $1.4 billion in shorts that got liquidated in about 4 hours. And Bitcoin ETFs saw huge inflows, so 517 million, which is the biggest single day in 3.5 months. So lots of activity around the Treasury moves.
Yeah, certainly Bitcoin was kind of a signal of that.
Yeah.
With all its price movements. Yeah, I was like, I was seeing a lot of people kind of remembering that, Bitcoin doesn't have moves like this very often, but when it does, they're like really violently to the upside.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you don't capture, these like, there's only like a specific number of days per year that this actually happens, like that all of Bitcoin's upside happens. So if you, sell all your Bitcoin and you're like waiting to get back in, you usually miss these types of moments. And that's why it's generally better to like just hold, which is like what everybody recommends to do. Because then you have the benefit of these big moves that are, kind of coming from out of nowhere in some ways that just happen so quickly.
Exactly. Yeah.
Some news from the SEC. They have proposed some new regulation for crypto assets. So SEC Commissioner Hester Pierce, she announced that the SEC's new regulation crypto assets proposal creates tailored exemptions from full securities registration for certain crypto asset investment contract offerings. The rules include a one-time $5 million exemption over 4 years and a $75 million annual exemption, which both require narrative disclosures, with the larger one adding financial statements and ongoing reporting, plus a safe harbor for qualifying crypto assets. And the proposal seeks to reduce regulatory barriers, clarify securities law application, encourage US-based innovation and capital raising, while preempting some state laws and maintaining investor protections through disclosures. And this is pretty interesting. I was seeing some people that were saying that, because we have not yet had like clarity go through, the SEC is sort of trying to get ahead of things and just put these rules out there ahead of time. And I was also seeing some people saying that like once the SEC puts these rules out and, big banks, big regulators, or, big corporations and stuff start to follow them, it's going to be really difficult to walk some of these types of regulations back. So the fact that SEC is putting out these specific rules might be good enough if we just don't end up getting the Clarity Act out there, which is kind of an interesting way to think about it.
Yeah.
But either way, it's, it's good for the crypto industry, which is good for Bitcoin overall.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, we can get into some quick headlines. Yeah, there wasn't a ton of news this week, so it's going to be a short show, but that's okay.
Yeah.
So we have OrdinalsBot, RIP. You put this one in here. They
Yeah.
announced this week that they're winding down, but they're looking for bids from investors, hoping to keep the dream and the brand alive.
Yeah. OrdinalsBot was super, super early. They were the first place that you could go if you didn't want to like run a Bitcoin node and run the Ord software yourself. You could just go to OrdinalsBot and you could pay them a little bit of Bitcoin to inscribe things on your behalf, and then they would send you the inscription. And like my first ordinal was inscribed through OrdinalsBot. I think a lot of people's first ordinals were inscribed through OrdinalsBot if you've inscribed them yourself. So yeah, it's a bit of a kind of an end of an era. They've been also responsible for like just a ton of historic ordinals projects in the space. They helped with the dog airdrop, like the runestone airdrop. They helped inscribe so many important collections to Bitcoin in the ordinal space. So yeah, it's super sad to see them kind of exiting the space, winding down. I guess they are looking to keep the brand alive. They're looking to to have somebody maybe come in and buy them and keep it going, which would certainly be awesome. But it doesn't sound like, I don't know if Toby or Bruff are going to be part of that anymore, if that does happen. But yeah, I've known, the guys over there for a long time. A lot of the marketing folks that have been there. Shout out to like Purple Suede and some other guys that I met that were originally at OrdinalsBot. So yeah, a bit of an end of an era, I guess. But certainly their legacy is definitely felt in the ecosystem for sure.
Yeah. It's really just like part of this move, like the ordinals market kind of dried up, they were saying, over the last year. I don't think ordinals are going to go, like, obviously they'll always be around, but I feel like there could be like a resurgence of ordinals. I think it's just kind of comes and goes with the overall market. Obviously we've kind of been in some desert times, so typically, projects like this are some of the first to dry up, but I could see there being like a resurgence coming back for sure with ordinals, and maybe some new innovations happening too.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's just like the NFT market. Like people don't really care about NFTs right now, but once retail starts coming back in, once the prices start going back up and retail starts caring a little bit more, that's when NFTs start to kind of pop off again, and ordinals is part of that. So yeah, it's just that's kind of how it is. During these bear markets, right? Is like number one goal is to just kind of survive, and it's not easy. So yeah, sad to see them go, but ordinals itself will continue for sure.
For sure. All right. Clarity news, tell us.
Yeah. I mean, we have a date now. So senators are going to vote for Clarity on September 15th. They are currently on recess. So that, the vote didn't get out before they went on vacation, but they'll be back. And then, that vote is scheduled on September 15th. Specifically, this is a vote for cloture for the motion to proceed, which basically means that they will be finalizing the bill and preparing it for an actual vote if this vote goes through. So it's kind of like a vote for a vote. Yeah. So it needs 60 votes. Republicans hold 53 seats. So at least 7 Democrats need to cross the aisle and also vote yes. So call your senator and tell them to vote yes on Clarity on September 15th. And hopefully we'll see that happen.
Cool. Yeah, we were talking about Clarity back in May, thinking we were going to get some movement. We were like, it's almost here. But yeah, it's crazy how long these things take. But I mean,
yeah, I think it's still a little surprising how long it's taken, considering it seems like Genius like passed so quickly and so easily in comparison. So yeah, it's a little surprising. I think there's been a lot of just misinformation on exactly like what Clarity does. Like it's literally at the core of it, it's really just defining like SEC versus like CFTC and who is who has jurisdiction over things, and that's fine. I don't know. I think there's a lot of misinformation on like it's making crypto Wild West legal and blah blah blah, and it doesn't obviously do any of that. So yeah, hopefully we'll see. Yes, White House is certainly pushing for it, so we'll find out soon, I guess, in a few weeks.
We will. It'll be all over the timeline for real.
Yeah.
Clarity in. Anyway, yeah.
Well, I think that wraps up. This is a short week.
I know.
short news week. But yeah, I guess good time to be holding Bitcoin. Hopefully we'll see that price. We'll see like a new level of like Bitcoin stablecoin. Maybe it'll stick around this price of like 77, 78K for a while.
We'll see.
Okay. Well, thank you to everybody for tuning in. We will see you next week. Have a great weekend. And that's all, I guess.
Awesome. We'll see you guys soon. Bye.